The title is a bit of a lie. I've been working on animations for years, but the issue is that I never finished any longer pieces. I always was more focused on the storyboarding and ended up not attempting to actually animate anything more than a short GIF. So when I attempted a full, nearly 3-minute digital animation, I was floored. And when I tried looking for help, my ADHD brain just didn't catch any information that YouTube or TikTok videos were telling me. Well, either that or people just kept repeating the same things over and over, so I eventually just clicked off to watch Ultra Kill clips. I love Ultra Kill so much. Gabriel, please be mine. In this video, I will share what I learned through my own research and practice. Basically, I'm sharing what I know, why it is important, and an example. Keep in mind that none of this really applies to tweening, so sorry for those who want to do that. I have no idea, but I heard all right motion is really good for it. So after all that, how do I make an animation? The very first thing you need is some type of animation program and an editing software. Or you can do what I used to do, and aka make frames, save them into my camera roll, and put them into my editing program of choice. The program for animation that I will show in this video will be IBIS Paint, which I pay a Prime membership for. But I know that all this applies to Flip a Clip, so if you use it, you can still use these tips. My editing program that I've been using for years and still am using is called InShot, which is free. Now that the programs are out of the way, let us get into the basics. The first thing I found out is that you need to know who or what you are drawing. I know that sounds dumb, but hear me out. If you are drawing a character from a show or a video game, the first thing you need to do is practice and simplify the character. Simplify the character? What? Why? Well, I'm glad you asked. The reason you should learn how to simplify a character is because animation is hard and takes a long time. I will use V1 from Ultra Kill as an example. In this animation I am currently still working on, I knew I had to simplify V1 because I need to get this animation done within 2 months. For someone on a crunch like me, simplification can be a lifesaver. But not only is it useful when being on a time crunch, it also helps with translating the character in your own style. I would even recommend drawing said character in a few poses like how I did at the bottom with V1 doing his slide. For another example, my main mascot character actually was redesigned several times because I knew I wanted to animate emotes, my intro, and possibly an outro. Since I had all of these in mind, I knew I had to keep my design simple. The reason I am talking about this because if you plan to make characters or a mascot meant for animation, try to keep it simple. Keep in mind that if you're okay with animating the complicated designs, then go ahead. The reason I do is because I'm a one-person team and need to optimize my time the best I can. Also, for beginners, if you have overcomplicated designs, it's really hard to learn the basics when you skip ahead trying to figure out how to make all the character details there. I feel like I said enough about simplification, so let's move on to blocking. Blocking is when you either write down or draw out major points of an animation. A lot of the time, beginner animators try to go frame by frame and eventually get to the next major frame, which I have found makes the whole process much more difficult and time-consuming no matter what program you're working on. The example for this is going to be the small animation I'm working on where my persona does a spin to transform. I have already added in-betweens, but what we really want to focus is the head-on, left turn, backside, right turn, and the last facing ahead. These are our key frames that we have to work with. Having the main parts made ahead of the others for this piece helps me move my Sona in a way that makes sense and looks clean. The biggest example is the legs. Now, I've never actually animated someone turning, so I knew I was going to struggle with the leg placements. Having where the leg ends in the major frames really helped though with figuring out how the leg will turn the body. It was also important to keep in mind how a character will turn. What I mean by this is that I knew my human Sona would be smoother with it because as a child I was in dance and was actually pretty good at it, while the dragon version of my Sona wouldn't really care about being smooth or perfect, but rather what feels fun. If you were animating a ballerina, for example, they turn their head at the start of a spin, so it could really help to add another key frame where they are just turning their head. It is more work, but really helps add personality into whatever you are animating. Some of you will know this is called character acting, taking an action and making it fit the character that you want it to. The last thing I'm going to talk about is actually color. If you want to animate without any color, then once again, go ahead. But for those that do, then this is for you. Clipping masks. Clipping masks will save your life, I swear. In the short animation of Gabriel from Ultrakill, I drew him doing just a little flap of his wings. The secret to this animation is that the wings were not colored individually. What I mean is that I drew out the wings as a blob of color, added a new layer, and shaded the whole canvas with the colors I wanted, then turned on the clipping mask. That is how I made the wings look so clean and yummy. Almost as yummy as Gabriel in the game. Just that one little step saved me hours of headaches when trying to get the gradient on his wings to look nice. This feature is even on Flip-a-Clip. Another way it is also useful is that you can use it to color whole characters without needing to worry about colors so early on. If we go back to my little Sona doing a spin, you can see that I colored him fully with one solid color. The reason I did that was to really know his shape and see if everything flowed nicely. This is especially helpful when you are drawing more than one character in a scene. Like with Gabriel and V1 in this fight animation of mine, I put them as solid colors to help them stand out on the page, and if I have time, I'll use the clipping mask to color them. That's all I'll share for now about what I've learned while trying to animate. I really hope this helps someone, and if you have any animation tips, please post them in the comments section. I would love to hear some feedback. My next video is actually going to be about analyzing a video game campaign, so if you're a fan of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2002 and Modern Warfare 3 2023, then subscribe. But if you just want to see more art-related topics, then please also subscribe for when I make my next art topic-related video. Thank you and have a good day, night, or evening. Bye!